When you're in a situation where you're trying to make someone chase you, the first thing you need to understand is the purpose of the no contact rule. It's not a manipulative tactic, nor is it about trying to play games or punish the other person. The essence of no contact is about creating the necessary space to reset the dynamics in the relationship and giving yourself room to breathe. It's not about trying to get someone to chase you purely for validation. It's about setting the stage for a healthier, more balanced connection. No contact is about creating distance, yes, but it's also about focusing inward. When you remove yourself from the equation, you allow the other person to step back and reflect. It gives them the opportunity to miss you, to remember what made you attractive, and to see your absence in a new light. But it's also just as important to recognize that this time apart is a golden opportunity for you to rediscover yourself. During this period, you aren't just waiting for her to come back, you're improving and bettering yourself. You're becoming the person who doesn't need validation from someone else to feel worthy or significant. That's the real secret. By taking this step back, you show that you have your own life, your own goals, and your own passions. You stop being available at her every beck and call. What this does is it shifts the power dynamic. When someone has the sense that you might not be around forever, it sparks interest. People tend to value what they can't easily have, and by choosing to not chase her, you naturally prompt her to start wondering where you are, what you're doing, and why you're not constantly in contact. It makes your presence something to be missed rather than something always expected. The purpose of no contact isn't just to get her to miss you, though. It's about creating emotional space that fosters clarity. For you, this time is essential for emotional healing, for putting things in perspective, and for determining whether this relationship is truly something you want to invest in moving forward. Sometimes we get so caught up in relationships that we lose track of our own emotional needs and our own goals. No contact offers you a moment to reevaluate everything from the connection itself to your individual desires. It's a time to reflect on whether your bond was healthy or if it was based on attachment or neediness. For her, it can be a time of reflection too. She gets the chance to think about the dynamic between you two. Is there something she misses? Was she taking you for granted? Does she feel a genuine loss without your presence? The absence you create by stepping back lets her have the space to answer these questions for herself. Sometimes a person doesn't realize what they had until it's no longer there. So in some ways, the purpose of no contact is also about creating that contrast. It's about letting her recognize your value by showing her what life is like without you in it. Now, this doesn't mean you should cut her off indefinitely or create drama. No contact is a temporary phase with a clear intention. It's not about pushing someone away or forcing them to prove something to you. It's about shifting the focus back onto you and your own growth while subtly allowing her the room to process her own feelings. The key here is that both of you have to feel this absence and come to terms with what's truly important to you. If she values the relationship, she will feel the void you left behind. And that's when the attraction will begin to shift in your direction. By giving space to both of you, you're not just creating the potential for her to miss you, but also giving yourself the chance to determine whether you actually want to pursue this connection again. It's an essential part of resetting and understanding what both of you need to grow individually and together. The power in no contact lies in its ability to encourage reflection, attraction, and a healthier emotional connection down the line. After you've implemented the no contact rule, the next crucial step is to focus on yourself and build your confidence. This time apart is not just about creating space in the relationship, it's about using that space to invest in your own personal growth. It's easy to get consumed by the idea of winning someone back or getting their attention, but what's even more important is remembering who you are and what makes you unique. When you become the best version of yourself during this period, it naturally radiates confidence, and that's what will make you more attractive not only to her, but also to the world around you. Self-improvement starts from within. It's not about trying to change for someone else, but about growing and evolving for your own well-being. This is your chance to reset, clear your mind, and focus on the things that make you feel fulfilled. Whether it's dedicating more time to your career, pursuing a hobby you've neglected, or working on your fitness, these activities give you a sense of purpose and accomplishment. When you feel good about yourself, when you know you're improving and achieving, that energy becomes contagious. It exudes confidence that doesn't need to be spoken. It's something people pick up on in the way you carry yourself, the way you speak, and the way you approach life. Confidence is magnetic. When you're comfortable with who you are, you stop seeking validation from others. That shift in mindset is incredibly powerful. Often, when we're too focused on someone else's approval, we lose sight of our own worth. The key is to build your own self-esteem and make yourself your priority. When you do this, you stop acting out of desperation. You stop texting constantly, worrying about what she might think and trying to force things. Instead, you start to act from a place of strength and self-assuredness. This transformation is attractive in itself, and it sets the stage for a more genuine connection if you choose to reconnect later. The idea here is to rebuild your confidence from the inside out. Whether it's achieving small personal victories, improving your health, or simply getting back to the things that bring you joy, these elements contribute to your overall well-being. But more than that, they make you less reliant on the validation or attention of others, which is crucial in not coming across as needy. Being overly available, constantly texting or reaching out only signals that you're looking for approval. But when you're busy building your own life, when you're occupied with your passions and your growth, the dynamic shifts completely. You become someone who adds value to a relationship rather than needing it to feel complete. Another key element in building your confidence is to work on your emotional health. This time of self-focus isn't just about physical transformation or career goals, it's also about emotional resilience. Work on managing your feelings, healing from any past emotional wounds, and gaining clarity about what you want in your relationships moving forward. When you're emotionally strong, you're able to approach challenges in a balanced, calm way. You don't react out of impulse or desperation, but rather from a place of grounded confidence. This emotional maturity is incredibly appealing and lets her see you in a new light. Moreover, when you're confident, you stop being so available to her or anyone else. You're not just waiting by the phone or hoping she'll come back. You've got your own life and you're busy living it. This subtly signals that your time is valuable, that you have other things going on, and that you're not sitting around waiting for someone to choose you. Instead, you choose yourself first, and that choice is the most powerful thing you can do for yourself. So while it's tempting to focus all your energy on making her chase you, the reality is that when you invest in yourself and build your confidence, everything else naturally falls into place. The time and effort you spend on becoming the best version of yourself will not only make you feel more fulfilled, but it will also naturally make you more attractive to her and to the world around you. This personal growth is the key to setting the foundation for a healthier, stronger relationship in the future, if that's what you both want. One of the most important aspects to remember after initiating no contact is maintaining emotional control and avoiding desperation. It's easy to fall into the trap of feeling like you need to make something happen immediately or reach out because you're anxious or worried about the future. But when you act out of desperation, it sends the wrong message, not only to her, but also to yourself. Emotional control isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending that you're indifferent. It's about being aware of your emotions and responding to them in a calm, composed, and rational way. When you're emotionally in control, you don't let fear drive your actions. It's natural to feel anxious after a period of no contact. You might wonder if she's thinking about you, if she's moving on, or if she's lost interest. These thoughts can easily spiral into feelings of insecurity, leading you to act impulsively. Maybe you think that sending a message or calling her will somehow fix the situation or make her feel the way you want her to feel. But desperation never works. It often pushes people away instead of drawing them closer. When you text out of fear or anxiety, it's not coming from a place of strength, but from a place of need. And neediness is one of the least attractive qualities in any relationship. Maintaining emotional control requires self-awareness. You have to acknowledge your emotions, but you don't let them control you. If you find yourself reaching for your phone, thinking about sending that text, or wondering if she's going to reach out first, pause for a moment. Take a deep breath. Ask yourself why you feel this urgency. Are you genuinely looking to improve the relationship, or are you simply seeking reassurance? Are you trying to fill an emotional void, or are you responding to the situation from a place of self-respect and self-sufficiency? The more you learn to respond instead of react, the more powerful and in control you will feel. One way to develop this emotional control is through self-reflection. When you're tempted to break the no-contact period, take a step back and ask yourself, what am I hoping to accomplish by reaching out right now? If your answer is anything along the lines of I need her to confirm that she still cares or I need her to make me feel secure, you're acting from a place of neediness. If your answer is, I want to continue building my life and let things unfold naturally, then you're responding from a place of emotional strength. The ability to step back and assess your own motives helps you regain control and shift the focus back to your own well-being. Another way to avoid desperation is by setting healthy boundaries with yourself. It's tempting to let your thoughts spiral out of control or obsess over what might happen. But remember that you can't control her actions, only your own. Emotional control means being able to disengage from overthinking. You're not waiting for her to contact you because you believe your happiness depends on it. You're focusing on building your own happiness and making your own life fulfilling. This shift in mindset is crucial because it frees you from the need for external validation. The more you focus on developing yourself and living life on your own terms, the less you rely on her actions to dictate your emotional state. What's also important is recognizing that emotional control isn't about being cold or distant. It's about setting a healthy pace and allowing the relationship or potential relationship to develop organically. When you act out of desperation, you may rush things, which creates pressure and tension. The natural rhythm of getting to know someone is lost when you're too eager to jump ahead. Instead, when you maintain emotional control, you approach her with calm, confident energy. You don't force things to happen, you let them unfold naturally at a pace that feels right for both of you. Desperation also manifests in the way you communicate or don't communicate. Constantly reaching out, sending multiple texts, or over-explaining yourself shows a lack of emotional control. This behavior suggests that you don't trust the process or believe that your value is enough. When you're emotionally stable, you don't need to convince her of anything. Your actions speak louder than words. You don't need to beg for attention or make excuses for why you're not in contact. You simply focus on living your life and trusting that things will either come together or naturally fade out, whichever is meant to happen. Emotional control is a sign of maturity. It shows that you're in touch with your feelings but not ruled by them. This level of emotional intelligence is deeply attractive as it signals that you are self-sufficient, grounded, and not dependent on someone else for your happiness. By maintaining this control, you're also setting the tone for any future interactions. You're showing her that you're not someone who acts out of impulse or desperation, but someone who is calm, confident, and in control of their emotions. Ultimately, emotional control helps you stay true to yourself. You're not bending to the pressures of the moment, but instead choosing to act in a way that aligns with your values and goals. It's this inner strength that will naturally draw her toward you, as people are always attracted to those who are secure and confident in who they are. By staying emotionally grounded, you allow both yourself and the relationship space to grow. When you've given yourself the time and space to focus on your personal growth and maintain emotional control, the next step is mastering the art of subtle communication. This is where you learn how to communicate in ways that are not forceful, but rather intriguing and alluring without coming off as desperate or needy. After the no contact period, it's important to strike the right balance, being present enough for her to notice you, but not so available that it undermines your sense of self-worth. The idea is to keep her thinking about you while not actively chasing her down with texts, calls, or constant messages. Subtle communication is all about creating curiosity and making her feel intrigued without directly pursuing her. It could be as simple as posting something on social media that shows you're doing well, having fun, or working on something exciting. For example, a picture from a hike you took, a project you're working on, or an achievement you've reached can subtly remind her that your life is going on, that you are progressing and growing without her. This doesn't mean posting for her or with the intention of getting her attention specifically, but rather allowing her to see that you have a fulfilling life outside of the relationship. This subtle signal makes her realize that you're not waiting around for her approval or validation, but living your life on your terms. The key here is to avoid being overly obvious. You don't want to broadcast that you're trying to get her to notice you, but instead let your life speak for itself. When she sees that you're thriving, she'll naturally wonder what you've been up to, and most importantly, start to feel the absence of your presence in her life. The mystery and the sense of you being out of reach is what piques her curiosity. It's this uncertainty that can trigger her interest and make her start thinking about reaching out without you having to do anything overtly to get her attention. But subtle communication isn't just about social media. It's also about the way you behave in person, around mutual friends or acquaintances. If you're still running in the same social circles, make sure you're showing up as the best version of yourself. Engage in conversations, be confident, and don't make your interactions with her seem like you're trying to win her back. Instead, show her that you're fine on your own, but if she wants to talk, you're open to it. This approach allows you to remain friendly, engaging, and present, but without signaling desperation. You're not seeking her approval or attention. You're simply living your life and letting her see that your life is full and meaningful without needing her validation. Another powerful form of subtle communication is through mutual friends. Without overtly trying to make her jealous or manipulate the situation, you can have friends casually mention what you've been up to. If they tell her about your recent success, new interests, or fun activities, it reinforces the idea that you're someone who is in demand and moving forward with your life. This indirect communication can work wonders because it makes her aware that you're not just sitting at home waiting for her to reach out. It plants the idea in her mind that you are desirable and engaging with the world around you. It's also essential to remember that subtlety doesn't mean you completely shut down communication or act aloof. The key is to be warm, genuine, and open, but not desperate. If she reaches out to you, don't respond with an overwhelming amount of enthusiasm or over-explain things. Keep your replies light and balanced, showing that you're interested but not overly invested in seeking her approval. You want to show that you're comfortable in your own skin, that you have a life and things going on, but that you're still available for meaningful connections without putting pressure on her. In essence, subtle communication is about making her feel the loss of your presence in her life, while not actively trying to make that happen. By giving off a sense of independence, confidence, and mystery, you're allowing her to wonder about you and potentially begin to chase you again. The more you can maintain this calm and confident approach, the more likely she is to reach out on her own, driven by her curiosity and desire to reconnect. The art of subtlety is key to maintaining attraction without overplaying your hand. When you finally reach the point where no contact has served its purpose and you're ready to initiate communication again, it's important to do so in a way that feels relaxed, natural, and non-pressuring. The temptation may be strong to rush in and flood her with messages or over-explain yourself, but that's a surefire way to undo all the hard work you've put in. Instead, you need to create a positive environment during this reintroduction phase, one that fosters genuine interest without feeling forced or artificial. The first step is to keep your approach light and simple. You don't want to come on too strong or sound like you're trying too hard. A casual, easygoing message that doesn't dive too deep into emotions or heavy topics is the best way to reestablish contact. For example, you could reach out with something as simple as, "Hey, I was thinking about you the other day. Hope all is well." This isn't overly intense, but it opens the door for conversation without setting any kind of expectations. This approach feels natural, low pressure, and allows both of you to test the waters without the risk of overwhelming her. It's crucial during this phase that you don't over-apologize or bring up everything that happened in the past. She doesn't need to hear a detailed account of your emotions or what you've been reflecting on during the no-contact period. The key is to keep the conversation focused on the present and allow space for things to develop gradually. By doing this, you're showing that you've moved on from any previous tension or negativity, and you're ready to interact without the weight of past issues hanging over you. It shows emotional maturity and demonstrates that you're not clinging to past mistakes or regrets. Another important aspect of reinitiating contact is to make sure that you're not just talking to fill the silence. If you've been working on yourself, you want to communicate that you've grown and evolved during your time apart, but you also want to keep the conversation about both of your lives, not just yours. Ask about what she's been up to, listen to what she shares, and show genuine interest in her life. This doesn't mean you should interrogate her or appear overly invested, but simply express curiosity and let the conversation flow in a balanced way. People are drawn to those who show interest in them without being too invasive. You want to let her feel that you value her as a person, not just as someone you're trying to win back. Another effective strategy is to reestablish a sense of fun and lightheartedness in your interactions. Humor, light teasing, or shared inside jokes can help bring a sense of ease back into the dynamic. It's important to remind her of the positive feelings you shared when things were good, and humor is a great way to do this. By being playful, you can show that you're not bogged down by past issues and that you're able to approach the situation with a relaxed and confident energy. It's also vital to be mindful of the pace at which you re-engage. After a period of no contact, it's easy to fall into the trap of over-communicating once you've broken the silence. Resist the urge to send several texts or messages in rapid succession, as that can come across as needy. Let the conversation unfold naturally, giving her space to respond at her own pace. This helps maintain the subtle, non-pressuring dynamic you've worked hard to create. The last thing you want is for her to feel like she's being smothered or that you're coming on too strong. Finally, remember that the goal is not to force the relationship to return to what it was, but to create the conditions for it to naturally evolve. By reintroducing communication in a relaxed and positive way, you're giving her the space to rediscover her feelings without feeling pressured or rushed. This approach shows that you respect her boundaries, are confident in yourself, and are open to letting things develop naturally without trying to control the outcome. When you let go of the need to push things forward, you allow both of you to explore the connection again at a pace that feels comfortable and authentic. The key to successful communication after no contact is to keep it light, positive, and natural. By doing so, you increase the chances of her wanting to reconnect on a deeper level without creating unnecessary tension or pressure. When it comes to reigniting attraction after no contact, one of the most powerful tools at your disposal is the art of mystery and curiosity. This concept might sound simple, but it's incredibly effective in rekindling interest and creating that desire for someone to chase you. The idea is that when you allow a bit of mystery to surround your presence, it leaves the other person intrigued and wanting to know more about you, rather than feeling like they have you completely figured out. When someone doesn't know everything about you or isn't always sure of what you're up to, they naturally begin to wonder and become curious. This curiosity can ignite their desire to chase because people are often drawn to what they can't easily have or fully understand. The key to creating mystery is in how you present yourself and how much you reveal. After a period of no contact, you've already established a sense of absence in her life. And now it's about maintaining that sense of unpredictability. One way to do this is by not always being immediately available. If you're too accessible, it can give the impression that you're not busy or not truly living your life outside of her. But when you allow yourself to be a bit elusive and don't drop everything to respond to her text instantly, you subtly communicate that your time is valuable and that you have other things going on. This isn't about ignoring her or playing hard to get, but more about showing that you're not sitting around waiting for her to contact you. It's about demonstrating that you have a fulfilling, independent life that doesn't revolve around her. Another way to create mystery is by not revealing everything about yourself right away. It's tempting to want to open up and share everything about what you've been doing, how you've been feeling, or all the new things you've learned during the no contact period. However, doing so can sometimes strip away the intrigue. Instead, offer glimpses of your life and experiences, but leave some parts to the imagination. Don't overshare. Let her wonder what you've been up to and what changes have occurred in your life. The more she's left to imagine, the more she'll start to feel a sense of curiosity, and this curiosity is what drives attraction. People want what they don't fully understand because it makes them feel like there's more to explore. Subtlety plays a huge role in this as well. For instance, when you interact with her again, don't be overly transparent about your feelings or intentions. Leave things a bit open-ended. This doesn't mean being cold or distant, but rather showing that you're confident in yourself and not forcing things. By doing so, you spark curiosity about where things might go instead of presenting a clear-cut picture of your intentions. This element of unpredictability keeps her thinking about you and wondering what might come next. It keeps her emotionally engaged in the process of discovering you rather than assuming that she already knows everything there is to know. Creating mystery isn't about playing games, but about making sure that the connection doesn't feel too comfortable or predictable. Predictability can sometimes lead to boredom, and the excitement of a potential relationship often comes from the unknown, the little bits of mystery that keep things fresh and exciting. You don't need to be mysterious all the time, but maintaining a sense of unpredictability in the way you communicate and interact can ignite curiosity and keep her interested in getting to know you more. At the same time, it's important to balance mystery with openness. The goal isn't to play hide and seek, but to maintain a healthy balance between showing interest and maintaining enough space to keep the spark alive. You don't want to be completely closed off, but you also don't want to over-explain yourself or make your every move obvious. When you allow some things to remain unanswered, it naturally leads to a sense of longing and curiosity, which is what ultimately draws someone toward you. In essence, the key to remitting attraction after no contact is to remain a bit of a mystery. When you give off the vibe that there's more to discover about you, whether through the things you say, the way you behave, or how you present yourself, you make her want to chase you, uncover what lies beneath the surface. By maintaining a sense of curiosity, you keep her emotionally invested and keep the attraction alive.